Trump administration has announced plans to begin limiting air traffic tomorrow at 40 of the country's biggest airports amid the government shutdown. Man, if it turns out people can't fly home for the holidays, he might just win a third term after all. No, it's not my fault, Mom.
His mom's got Trump derangement syndrome, too, the whole family. The family that TDS is together, they monkeypox together. Something like that. They're still working on straightening that out. Well, very good and happy Friday to you. Welcome back. We are at 888-630-9625. It is day 38, I believe. Is that right? Day 38 of the Schumer shutdown. Senators to vote again on revised bill to end shutdown. The people at USA Today say the revised bill would likely keep the federal government's lights on past Thanksgiving and fund some, but not all, agencies. Well, Chuck Schumer could snap his claws, his pointy claws, and reopen the government before you finish your cup of coffee. But he's, he's the lizard king, and you can't trust him any farther than you can throw him, and who would want to throw him? Oh, okay, maybe if you're on the Brooklyn Bridge or something like that, but that's about it. Very, very good morning to you. Democrats hold government hostage over ACA subsidies in shutdown battle. That's a good headline. They call it the Affordable Care Act, but the Washington Post confessed recently that the Affordable Care Act was never actually affordable. It's a misnamed government program. Affordable my rumpus. Who says this is affordable, you ridiculous people? They're terribly ridiculous. And, of course, this area, Washington, D.C., metropolitan area, Northern Virginia, Maryland, affected more than the average area in the country by the government shutdown that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are demanding because they want to add another $1.5 trillion to the national debt. Michael, if they added another $1.5 trillion to the national debt, what would the national debt be? Let's see, because where are we now? We're at $37.5 trillion, right? So we got $39 trillion. And then we'd be up on $40 trillion before you know it, because Democrat Party is like a gang of armed criminals jumping out of a stolen van to carjack the country. They're not on our side. But I love the story that the Fox News channel have on their online. They got this whole online thing there. Have you seen that? Democrats hold the government hostage. Oh, sure. That's why would they do that? Over subsidies that the American people don't want. And that's okay because, they're arrogant it's a truly amazing group of people, the Democrat Party. Boy, are they not on our side. But the government is shut down again today. And if you're planning on flying today, maybe you should think about driving. I was talking to my best girl about this. I said, if we had a plan to fly to Chicago, I would, to visit my family over the weekend or visit friends, go to Chicago. I honestly think I would consider driving. I think I might really consider driving because of what the Democrats have done to the country. They're not on our side. They're not on your side. They're not on the side of the good guys. They're communists, I think, is the short version. Isn't that amazing? Democrats hold the government, and I think the American people, the country, hostage at gunpoint over subsidies Americans don't want. That's a good headline. And it's true, and even the polls show that we, the American people, don't want to pay another $1.5 trillion to bail out Barack Obama and his awful, poisonous legacy and what he did to healthcare in the United States, the greatest healthcare system in the history of the world. And then the left sunk their pointy teeth into the carotid artery of the greatest healthcare system in the world and started sucking the lifeblood out of it because, boy, they're not on our side. They just want control. They want to control your life and your health and your death and, whether you can live or not, your children, your mother, your wife. They're really not on the side of the good guys. Democrats are holding the government hostage in an extended government shutdown over temporary COVID-era Affordable Care Act subsidies that were meant to make health insurance cheaper or free for millions of Americans during the pandemic. But like most pandemic relics, the cost of these subsidies far outweighs any potential benefits. Rather than forcing an extension of the temporary bumped-up subsidies through the spending bill, policymakers should allow them to expire at the end of the year and focus instead on health care reforms that actually help patients. That's where the Democrats started firebombing the Jewish people because, they don't accept common sense or reality or the truth. These things are anathema to them. They're repugnant, repulsive to them. According to Democrats, including Joe Biden, inflated COVID-era ACA numbers were always meant to be a temporary economic bridge through the crisis, not a permanent expansion of government. But now Democrats are claiming that returning to pre-COVID Obamacare would be a catastrophic. It'd be an absolute catastrophe, they say. But wait a minute, just before COVID? Because you loved the Affordable Care. You lied that it was the Affordable Care Act, and then you tripled, quadrupled the price of everything. Hey, look, isn't this great? And it's more affordable than ever before. I come for the strudel. Just amazing. So, yeah, according to Democrats, including Joe Biden, that's what they called an economic bridge through the crisis. And that's what they said. And not a permanent expansion, but now it's becoming a permanent expansion. And they need trillions and trillions more, and they will shoot your children in their cradle if it'd win them one more seat in the House of Representatives. But now Democrats are claiming that returning to pre-COVID Obamacare would be a catastrophe, a not-so-tacit admission that the health insurance scheme they've lauded for the past 15 years is no good. And it isn't. Well, I'd say it is no good, but isn't that amazing? And this is Mary Catherine Ham writing the story at the Fox News channel, and it's online right there. And now all they want is trillions and trillions more to keep bailing out Obamacare, which was the biggest robbery in the history of Washington, D.C., where, we've got a long history of the biggest robberies in the history of the world. And these crooks, these criminals, we call them Democrats, I guess, aren't they amazing? They lie and they lie and they lie. Then they get caught and they come up with a whole new pack of lies, and they become very angry about it, like climate change, like the world is on fire and we're all going to die soon, and that makes them angry. Man, oh, man. Yeah, so... I got to tell you, these people just completely berserkly. To make the already broken ACA system worse, Biden's emergency measures increased the dollar amount of ACA subsidies. Everything has to be subsidized. Nothing can work on its own. They're not free market capitalists. They don't believe in Western civilization. And expanded the number of people eligible for taxpayer support, including millions and millions of illegal aliens. Rather than helping the needy, these subsidies go straight to insurance companies, of course, and then they funnel money back to the Democrats so they can buy beach houses, padding their profits at the expense of American taxpayers and creating a breeding ground, you know how they like a breeding ground, for enrollment fraud and abuse, Mary Catherine Ham writing. The subsidies, along with weakened income verification, they've weakened income verification, to be eligible for the subsidies, have led to skyrocketing improper enrollments, meaning illegal people that shouldn't be on there at all. According to the Paragon Institute, more than 6.4 million people were improperly enrolled in 2025, just in 2025, costing taxpayers $27 billion. That's nothing. Now they want $1.5 trillion more to, fund the Obamacare thing. They told us that they called it the Affordable Care Act because they have no sense of irony. Just ridiculous stuff. Zero claim enrollees. That's what they call some people, zero claim enrollees. People are enrolled but have never filed a claim, have also skyrocketed, signaling widespread fraud. Oh, no. 40% of those enrolled in fully subsidized plans filed zero claims compared to the typical 15% of zero-claim enrollees in private plans. Oh, wow. Well, isn't that not a surprise? Just amazing. These people, 40%. That shows that, another 25% just total frauds, complete fraud. But at least we're paying for it, you and me. We got to get up early and go to work and stay late because a bunch of illegal alien criminals that the Democrats are massaging with hot oil, and we've got to pay for all that. Isn't that amazing? A couple with $1.5 million in investable assets who retire at 46 to travel the world bragged on Reddit that they're getting the maximum Affordable Care Act subsidy while on a 5-month slow travel tour of the British Isles, Ireland, a dream trip, they say. And they're bragging on it online. Hey, look, I'm being subsidized by idiots in the United States of America because of criminals in Congress that call themselves Democrats. So these people are on that's a long time. The British Isles aren't that big in Ireland. 5 months, that's a lot of time. I'd like to do that. Don't get me wrong. That sounds very nice. But when I'm subsidizing it and not enjoying the travel, that's another discussion altogether. Dream for them, nightmare for taxpayers and the vulnerable Americans whose coverage and care is diluted by those abusing the system. And again, the Democrats, they're going to vote against opening the government again today. And then the crooks in the news media, because they're Democrats too, the filthy, rotten, thieving, criminal crooks in the news media, they're going to say, oh, the Republicans haven't opened the government, while the Democrats all vote against opening the government and the Republicans all vote for opening the government for, what are we at, the 16th time? Just amazing. Senators to vote again on revised bill to end shutdown, and the revised bill would likely keep the federal government's lights on past Thanksgiving. Oh, wouldn't that be neat and fun and great? And fund some, but not all agencies. The Democrat Party would choke your dog to death using their belt for one more seat in the House of Representatives, for one more governor's mansion. They're not the good guys. In a sign of thawing tensions between Republicans and Democrats, GOP leaders in Congress teed up a vote Friday, November 7th, on advancing legislation to potentially end the record-breaking government shutdown. The revised bill will likely keep the federal government's lights on past Thanksgiving. Oh, boy, we should all high-five them for that, huh? I got to tell you, you're getting annoying to the point where I'd like maybe to see it shut down and never open again. How about that? Whatever it is we're missing out on. I'm not on food stamps, I'm happy to report. I'm signing the cross that I'm not on food stamps. But, and I'll, pay for some of my neighbors. I'll go shopping with them, all that. But what the Democrats have done to the United States of America is positively banana republic. It's third world, up the yin-yang, if I may say up the yin-yang in this contest. The revised bill keep the lights on Thanksgiving and fund some, but not all agencies. Well, do we really need all of them? Honestly. Still, it's not clear whether more moderate Senate Democrats, do they have some of those now, plan to support the proposal, even as flight cuts mount. And speaking of which, big story today, if you're flying today, you might want to consider driving today. Food insecurity grows. They invent these ridiculous terms like food insecurity, and it grows like a tumor. And hundreds of thousands of workers remain without pay on day 38 of the crisis. You know why? Because the Democrat Party is stealing power and money, and they want to control your life, and that means controlling your health care. And they can switch your life on and off. They want to have, like in Canada, state-sanctioned euthanasia. That means killing you. And the Democrats love that. They're really not on the side of America. Truth, justice, and the American way. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Da Nang Dick, he never served in Vietnam, but he lied that he did while he was running, said that if the bill doesn't include any changes to health care, it'll be a non-starter for many members of his caucus. So again, gun to the head, shakedown, trillion and a half dollars. Otherwise, they're not going to reopen the government. And then the news media said, they don't say, oh, Blumenthal's going to keep the government shut down. They say, oh, look, he's fighting for free stuff for criminal gang members from far-off lands. And they applaud that. Amazing. Oh, I've got an update, on Sandwich Boy, the sandwich throwing boy. Got an update on him. Nancy Pelosi, the mayor of Washington, D.C., lots of crazy Democrat activity. We're at 888-630-9625. All right, let's go to the telephones, Michael, and talk to the great American people. I've got an update on Zohran Mamdani in New York, too. He's got plans. He's got plans for the city. But right now, let's go to John, calling from Kensington, Maryland. John, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, John.
I want to offer an idea as to how to possibly end the shutdown, rather than Speaker Johnson and Senator Thune telling us each day how bad the Democrats are. What they should do is present polling numbers of Chuck Schumer versus AOC. And this could be subdivided in so many ways. Like today, they could give a poll subdivided by, age, and then tomorrow they could show subdivided by income level, and there's so many possibilities.
To taunt and mock and ridicule the Lizard King, Chuck Schumer in particular?
Oh, yeah, and it will give AOC more viability. And she's presented as the chief opponent to him.
I was talking to a liberal the other day on television at Newsmax, and the liberal, so we're talking about the filibuster and whether we should do away with the filibuster or not, and liberals said, well, look forward to the day of President AOC. And I'm like, you people are all mentally ill, aren't you? You're just completely crazy. They're talking about President of the United States, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who wouldn't have kept a job as a bartender all these years. But the Democrats say Congress, the White House, then she could become a deity for the death cult that is the Democrat Party today. They're amazing. But, John, fun idea for Thune and Speaker Mike Johnson to come out every day with poll numbers and pit AOC against Chuck Schumer, mock them, ridicule them. It was their boy Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are both Saul Alinsky acolytes. Saul Alinsky recommended in his Rules for Radicals to use ridicule against the people that they call their enemies. That would be Americans, normal people. Men, women, not transgender people. And ridicule is impossible to recover from. The Republicans need to get better at this whole politics thing. So the Democrats are promising to vote to shut down the government even longer. The 38-day government shutdown. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's go to one more phone call before we go to the audio. I got Barack Obama. It's an old Barack Obama, but, he's old now and boring and a former. He's just a former everything. All right, let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Robert calling from Waldorf, Maryland. Roberto, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. This government shutdown, my life hasn't really gotten any worse over it. I mean, I don't see why we shouldn't just keep it shut down. The only problem I see is that now we can't get early tea time like we used to be because the bureaucrats have all, they're sucking up all the early morning tea times. But I don't see anything in my life that has gotten worse over this government shutdown. So let's keep it shut down. But I do think they're trying to get him to get rid of that filibuster, Chris. I wouldn't suggest he do that. I hope he doesn't do that. Leave it alone, man. Let us stay shut down, save the money. But how you been, man?
I've been good. That's good stuff, Robert. I like but you say it hasn't affected your life, but you can't get your normal early morning tea times because so many government employees have time off that they are golfing early and gobbling up your preferred tea times. Is that correct?
That is correct. So they can't be starving too bad if they can go out there and pay $50 a round to go out here and play, you know. So they're not hurting too bad for money. But, man, other than that, that's the only thing I can see. But now you have to go out in the afternoons to get a tea time. I mean, it's warmer anyway this time of year, but,
don't they
leave it shut down.
Don't they subsidize tea times for people that want to golf early in the morning? Don't we have some kind of a program for that?
I don't know if they have affirmative action for tea times or not, Chris. I can't, but probably do knowing the way things are around here. But
I gotta tell you, you know, Robert, the Schumer shut down, the Democrats voting again and again to keep the government shut down, and then they come out and they lie right to your face. They stare you right in the face, and they lie to you like you're wearing a German uniform, and it's just appalling, the lies that we are told, the shameless, right in your face lies that we're told every day. And, you know, we catch Republicans do it. We'll call Republicans on lying too. But the Democrats are a lie machine. They're a lie factory. And if there's any doubt about that, just look at this whole government shutdown thing. And then you want to look at it in the macro sense. Look at the Affordable Care Act. Again, it's like, you know, calling Planned Parenthood the We Love Children factory. It is so corrupt, so dishonest. It's the opposite of the truth everywhere you look. The Anti-Unaffordable Care Act that the Democrats inflicted upon all of us, the government shutdown that they blame Republicans for when they vote to shut the government down 15 times, and the Republicans vote to open the government 15 times, and then we'll sit down like adults and we'll talk about the more long-range issues that we should be taking up, because there are long-range issues, Robert, that our government should be dealing with, but the Democrats want to make sure. These same people that are laid off, furloughed right now, when COVID was in effect, Chris, and all the companies that went out of business, all the people that couldn't go to work, these same people never bitched one iota about all the American workers that got put out of jobs during COVID. The government did that. Now these government employees are getting, to me, it's like payback is, what comes around goes around, babe. Keep it going. I love it, Chris. But have a good day, buddy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Robert wants to keep the shutdown going. For me, in the city of Washington, you know, the traffic's noticeably lighter and the city's less crowded, which is kind of nice. The Democrats were hoping that Wuhan would kill enough people where the whole world would be less crowded, because they don't like people. They don't like human beings. Humanity is not something that they cherish. They're happy because they're the left. You know, they murdered 100 million people in the last century, and they're not very good at any of this. And I got to tell you, I see Marco on the line, and I like what Marco has got in store. Let's go to, you know, I've talked, and Michael and I have talked about this recently. Should I do a day every now and then where I just come in and all I do is take calls? Because that could be fun. That would be great fun. Right now, let's go to Marco, calling from Springfield, Virginia. Marco, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris, and thanks for the compliment. Hey, instead of calling this the Schumer shutdown, they need to call it the Obamacare shutdown, because let's put the blame where it deserves to be. And the Republicans need to hammer that into the ground. This is how we got here, because of Obamacare. And maybe, just maybe, if they start putting the blame where it belongs, when that charlatan shows up at these political rallies to get people like Scamberger voted into office, maybe people will stop being sheep and start realizing, hey, this guy's a clown, okay? He's a charlatan, and now he's a billionaire? And how did that happen? So I think let's put the blame where it belongs. And as far as Schumer is concerned, I hope he does get primaried by, AOC, and I do hope that, she runs for senator and she loses, because that's the only way we're going to get rid of her too. It's people in New York need to wake up. After that mayoral election, I've got to believe people up there have lost their minds.
Yeah, well, and I got to tell you, in your home of Virginia, not looking very good either. Mm-hmm. You got an attorney general coming in, attorney general-elect, who believes that police officers should be shot and killed because then maybe the police would stop shooting so many innocent people, which is a lie and is not happening. And I got to tell you, because between Scamberger the attorney general and the lieutenant governor.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well be living in California, in Virginia, at this point.
Yeah, the lieutenant governor, by the way, isn't she the woman that said that parents that are opposed to gender-affirming care for the kids should be arrested? I do remember her saying something along those lines, and she got elected. And then Jay Jones, I mean, honest to God, wake up, people. But I will say that Bernie Sanders and his proteges are starting to run away with this stuff, this Democrat socialist stuff.
Yep.
That he says he is.
Yep.
He's a communist, and
Yep.
he's got this little, all these little, like I said, proteges running around, and they're starting to win elections. He's been working on this for decades, of course. So Bernie needs to go also, but well, we'll see. People of Vermont, wake up.
Yeah, but we'll see. And Barack Obama, I don't think he's a billionaire, but he's very, very wealthy, many tens and tens of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But remember, it's the Obamacare shutdown. Let's start calling.
Well, and that's what I saw on the big board.
That's
what I saw on the big board here that Jeff Wolf put up on the big board today, and I said, "Oh, Marco's got a great one. I don't want to steal it from Mark from the big board. Just hey, it should be called the Obamacare shutdown." I said we got to give Marco the opportunity to put that out there, and that's a good one. Yeah, Barack Obama got a book deal. His book deal, $60 million, right? And then what was the Netflix thing? $40 million. We're already over $100 million. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's good to be a Democrat, isn't it? And then they're all anti-capitalist and anti-corporate-y, big corporate this and big corporate that, until it's time for them to cash in, and then they cash in all over the place with their Netflix deals and their Random House deals and their oceanfront mansions all over from Barack Obama. You know, this kind of this annoys me big time with Barack Obama. He bought the mansion from the TV show in Hawaii, where he grew up in Hawaii with the Choom Gang and all that. He bought the Magnum PI mansion and leveled it. And, you know, when I was a kid, I saw that thing and, the Ferrari and you pull up to the mansion. I think they called it Robin's Nest in the TV show. Beautiful mansion on the ocean. Italian-style villa, I think, and as wow, what a beautiful place. And Barack Obama bought it and bulldozed it and built an illegal retaining wall, which is fine with every Democrat in the country because they think like communists with their Black Sea dachas, their villas on the Black Sea, where the Soviet leaders used to have their waterfront places. And Barack Obama, I don't think he spends any time there, but built some, $40 million house where the house from Magnum PI used to be. And, of course, they got their $15 million mansion on the ocean in Martha's Vineyard, and they've got their $10 million mansion in the shadow of the main mosque in Washington, D.C., because the call to prayer is the most beautiful sound he's ever heard and all that. These people are not on our side. But, Marco, I love the Obamacare shutdown. And it's the Obamacare, the so-called Affordable Care Act. How absurd. What an absurd title for this. When even the Washington Post has to sheepishly admit that it has never been affordable. But this is you're right, yet another Obamacare bailout, and it's the Obama bailout shutdown.
Yep. And you know what's really sad, Chris?
What's that?
When you see those rallies and he shows up in remember, he has only one blue shirt with rolled up sleeves. When he shows up in his blue shirt with his rolled up sleeves, they all applaud like a bunch of sheep whenever he starts talking jive again. And it's like, the guy's a con man. Will you people please wake up? I'm just stunned that he ever got elected, never mind 2 terms. But like I said, he shows up at these rallies and people seem to forget how we got to where we are. And I don't know, it's a sad commentary on history. But, I remember when teachers used to teach. And I remember studying about the Soviet Union, how they had the 5-year plan and the 10-year plan. They don't care how long it takes. As long as the ultimate goal is reached, they don't care if it takes 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. And now we're starting to see in New York, because that's been in the making for a long time. And you New Yorkers are going to start seeing what happens when you put a communist in for a mayor. But I also saw a poll on Stefanik running for governor against Hochul, and Hochul's leading by 25 points.
Right.
It's like, how big a baseball bat do people need before your brain gets engaged? I mean, Hochul against Stefanik, it shouldn't even be close. But Obviously, I could go on for hours, Chris, and I do appreciate your time on the air, but I had to share that Obamacare shutdown because that's what it's all about.
You're 100% right, and you brought New York, and you're right, Elise Stefanik, who's wonderful, running for governor against Kathy Hochul, who is a horror show from a third world hellhole, and perfectly mainstream, run-of-the-mill Democrat as the governor up there, and they abuse their power wherever they find it. But you mentioned Mamdani as well, the incoming communist jihadi Democrat and socialist. He calls himself a socialist. Oh, democratic socialist. Yeah, the only word that matters is socialist, and the goal of socialism is communism. And this guy is the most anti-American mayor I think we've ever had at any place in the United States, and it's New York City, our most popular city. But great people. Marco, the fun people. First, I want to read the headline and then tell you where it's from. Mamdani moves mayor's office under Children's Hospital. Now, Marco, I got to say, that's a great headline. Mamdani moves the mayor's office under a children's hospital. I think that's that's Hamas.
Isn't that what the Taliban was doing?
And Hamas. Right. Yeah, they store their weapons and their murderers, and their serums. They store everything under a children's hospital and then dare you to bomb it to take out their headquarters and their munitions. Right. Mamdani moves mayor's office under children's hospital is the headline. Now it's the Babylon Bee. It's the Babylon Bee, but.
It's Babylon Bee, yeah. But Chris, that communist is threatening the president of the United States, saying if you're going to go through here, you're going to go through me, and you're going to go through us. It's like you are threatening the president of the United States. Yeah. I mean, you're only the mayor, okay? But like I said, he's got guts. I'll give him that. I'm not too sure what his ultimate goals are, but wake up, people. Especially you New Yorkers. Well, for that matter, all of the Northeast, Vermont. Maine, etc. And like I said, we need to get back to teaching. It's like I said, when I was getting an education, people actually taught, and things like the Russian plans for propagating communism, they don't teach that anymore because actually they're in favor of all that, and it's really kind of sad. Ivy League educated, like I said, the smartest dumb people you'll ever meet.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. And the commies have always had a 100-year plan for taking out the United States of America. The Chinese communists have a 100-year plan for the 21st century where they want to dominate the world. And the Democrat Party's helping Joe Biden and Hunter Biden got into business and got into bed with the communist Chinese. Eric Swalwell, his Fang is his Chinese communist controller. Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese agent, intelligence agent on her staff in San Francisco for almost 20 years. The Chinese are coming for us, and the Democrat Party is their best friend. They're not on our side, not by a long shot. But you're right. We need to not re-educate, as the communists say, the Democrats say. We need to educate people. The truth, tell the truth. Educate people on the truth of the 20th century so they know where we came from. And I don't know if you saw this, Marco, a British World War II veteran in his 90s coming out and saying, well, looking at England today, was it all worth it? And he says, this heavily decorated British World War II veteran, so looking at his country today, says it was not worth it. World War II wasn't worth it because of what the left is doing to his country. And what the left is doing to our country is very much the same. Marco, good stuff. The Obamacare shutdown. It is the Obamacare bailout shutdown. We're being held at gunpoint by Schumer and the criminal Democrats. All they want is another $1 trillion bailout for what they call the Affordable Care Act. No sense of irony. They use the words, but they don't know what they mean. I think the Babylon Bee is great fun. Mamdani moves mayor's office under Children's Hospital. That's funny. Likes to use children as human shields. The sicker, the better, he said. Isn't that great? Also, a headline there, Zohran Mamdani horrified to discover he now has a job. Now he's got a job. That's terrible. Poor guy. Big fun. Also, Jay Jones. We were talking about Jay Jones, the new attorney general in Virginia. The headline, he wants to shoot the Republican speaker in the head twice with the only 2 bullets he has while he lets Hitler live and Pol Pot live. And he wants to kill the children of the Republican speaker. He also wants police to be shot and killed, and he's the chief law enforcement officer because Democrats voted for him. The headline for Jay Jones of the Babylon Bee now. Jay Jones campaign sends out celebratory text threatening to kill everyone's children. Threatening to kill everyone's children. That's great. All right, let's take another phone call, Mike. Let's go to Mark calling from Alexandria, Virginia, where I hear all the D.C. homeless people have been sent. Mark, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, I just spit out my coffee on your recap of the bee, but you got to laugh, right? So we're moving to Florida. It was always a contingency for the last about 10 years since we've become more communist here in Virginia, mostly Northern Virginia. Uh-huh. But that's pretty much a done deal. But here's the first 3 bills that the Democrats are going to introduce in Virginia. And, Scamberger ran on, I'm going to lower the prices and I'm going to get your jobs back. That was her plan. But the first 3 bills, one's going to be gun control, get rid of the assault rifles, whatever they are. And then the second bill they're going to introduce is going to be the high-capacity magazine. And then the third bill will be a tax increase. So, Chris, please don't ever say Americans aren't that dumb anymore. Because they truly are. And I hear Northern Virginia newsflash at about October of next year, when your electricity bills are up about over 25%, remember who you voted for. But we won't have that problem because we are relocating to the fine, tax-free, freedom-loving, whose new motto should be "Don't Tread on Me, Florida."
That is great. I'm happy to hear it. You can still listen on Al Gore's amazing internet. Peace be upon him, because he is so great. I want to know where you're going now.